Dr. R. Hemavati is an assistant professor in mathematics in Queen Mary's, Chennai. She has specialized on functional analysis. Having 12 years of experience in teaching, she has won various awards for her performance. She has published papers in 14 international journals, 3 national journals, and has presented papers in 10 international and in 5 national conferences. She is also one of the editors for an international journal.
Welcome to UGC lecture series. We are going to talk about numerical analysis. In this subject, in all the episodes, we are going to talk about various topics like errors and then solution of algebraic and transcendental equations, solving linear system of equations, and finding a point called interpolation and extrapolation. Also, we are going to fit a curve called curve fitting and spline, and then we are going to talk about numerical differentiation and numerical integration and solution of ordinary differential equations in this subject, numerical analysis applied to physical sciences. Why do we study numerical analysis? What is the basics? So all these things will be dealt in this session. So the objective of this session is to study about the basics of numerical analysis. To start with, the various types of errors committed during numerical computation will be discussed in this session. How does numerical analysis study has arisen? The limitations of analytic methods in practical applications have led the mathematicians to evolve numerical methods. The analytic methods are unable to produce desirable results in drawing plausible inference from a given set of tabulated data. That is, finding roots of transcendental equations, solving nonlinear differential equations, and in many more situations. Solving algebraic equations when it has exactly real roots or rational roots, it is easy to solve directly. But solving transcendental equation, in the sense equation comprising of algebra and trigonometric functions, that is called transcendental equation, is bit difficult. So we have to use the methods of numerical analysis to find the roots of such transcendental equations. Also, solving linear differential equations directly by finding the general solution using complementary function and particular integral by the usual methods is very easy, but solving nonlinear differential equation is quite difficult. So we have to apply numerical methods for that. In such situations, we apply the numerical part. So the aim of numerical analysis is to provide constructive methods for obtaining answers to such problems in a numerical form. When solving problems, when one usually starts with some initial data, then uses high precision computers along with the algorithms, and after some intermediate steps obtain the final results. Actually, we have to talk about errors, because whatever the computation done is not going to be 100% pure. So how does the error occurs? The numerical data used are approximate. It will be actually true to 2 or 3 or more figures. Sometimes the methods used are also approximate. It is not 100% true, right? And therefore the error in a computed result may be due to the errors in the data or the errors in the methods, or both. So there are two types of errors, errors due to data and errors due to the methods used. Sometimes both the data error and method error will cause the error. So we are going to talk about various types of errors. There are actually 3 essentially error sources. The truncation and round off errors are the most common. Errors in computation. Numerically, computed solutions are subjected to certain errors. So, it may be fruitful to identify the error sources, that is source in the sense, is it due to data or is it due to the methods used, and their growth. It should not build one upon the other. So, their growth while classifying the errors in numerical computation has to be identified. So, there are three essentially error sources: inherent errors, local round off errors, and local truncation errors. What is meant by inherent error? It is that quantity of error which is present in the statement of the problem itself. I told you the error may occur due to the data or the methods, but sometimes inherent error in the sense the error built in before we start the computation, that is before finding the solution itself, there may be error in the problem statement itself. So, it arises due to the simplified assumptions made in the mathematical modeling of the problem. If we take a case, that case has to be modeled mathematically for solving by numerical methods. So, whatever be the case study, that has to be converted to mathematical model, then only we can do computation and arrive at a result. Therefore, during the mathematical modeling of that particular case, error may occur. So, these errors are called inherent errors. Next, round off error. As we discussed already, many numerical computations are not 100% true, or it is actually inexact, either due to the given data being approximate or due to the limitations of the computing aids, because the computing aids may be using only 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places, or whatever the capacity of the computer, that kind of decimal place only it can take over. So, computing aids limitations in the sense mathematical tables computation, desk calculators and the digital computer. So, due to this limitation, whatever be the capacity of the aid, we have to round off, that is numbers have to be rounded off, causing what are called rounding off errors. So, local round off errors. Every computer has a finite word length, and therefore, it is possible to store only a fixed number of digits in a given digits of a given input number. That is, for example, if the number is about 10 to the power 10 decimal places, then according to the word length of the computer's capacity, we can fix only the number of digits allowed. Okay. So, since computers store information in binary form, storing an exact decimal number in its binary form into the computer memory gives the error. Actually, this type of error is computer dependent. It depends on the capacity of the computer's storage. Also, at the end of the computation of a particular problem, the final results in the computer, which is obviously in the binary form, should be again converted back to the decimal form, that is the form understandable by the user before they take the actual printout. Actually, what happens with the computer? We feed in a decimal number, the computer takes it in the form of binary, it does some calculations, and after calculations are done, we take the final results from the computer. The computer will actually give the binary format. Before we take the actual printout of the number, we have to convert it back to the decimal number. There also appears the error. Okay. So, therefore, an additional error is committed at this stage, that is converting back to the decimal part. This error is called local round off error. For example, take this problem. This is very easy. Everybody knows we have to convert the decimal number 47 into its binary equivalent. Usually, we convert the decimal number 47. Usually, we convert any decimal number into binary form, means we will divide by 2 and take its remainder. So, 23 and remainder is 1, 2 and then 11, 1, 2, 5, 1, then 2, 1, 2, 1, the remainder is 0. So, the decimal number 47 is being converted. Decimal number is always represented with the suffix 10, and the binary number equivalent to that is 1 0. It will take like this: 1 0 1 1 1 1 2. Right? Similarly, converting a whole number to binary number is easy, but finding a binary equivalent of the decimal fraction is done like this. So, this example shows find the binary equivalent of the decimal fraction 0.7625. So, 0.7625 is first multiplied with 2, and then we take the integer part of it. So, the product is 1.5250 and the integer part of it is 1. Similarly, take the decimal part of the answer obtained 0.5250, again multiply it with 2, 1.0500, and the integer part is 1, and 0.05 is the decimal part. We multiply it with 2.1 and the integer part is 0. Then 0.1 is taken product and then multiplied with 2, we obtain 0.2 and the integer part is 0. Integer part is this 0, and then take 0.2 again multiply it with 2, 0.4 integer part is 0. Then take 0.4 multiply it with 2, 0.80, and then take 0.8 into 2, 1.6, then the integer part is 1. Take 0.6 into 2 is 1.2, we get integer part is 1. Again we take 0.2, so it gets repeated with this particular part. Okay. After that it gets repeated, 0.2 into 2 will be again 0.4, and 0.4 into 2 is 0.8, so like that it gets repeated. So, what we have obtained is this 0.7625, so decimal number is being converted to binary number as 0.11 4 times 0 1 1 2. Actually, it gets repeated after this 2 zeros, so 0.11 0 0 0 0 1 1, and then since it gets repeated we will just put it in the bracket 2. Now, there is a discussion about the representation as 0.110000.11. Here it uses 8 bits, right, and here it uses 12 bits. This is 8 bits. Okay. We have noted that 0.7625, the decimal fraction, being converted to binary number as a 0.110000110011. Since it gets repeated, we put it in the bracket 2. If a particular computer system has a word length of 12 bits only, the decimal number is exactly 0.7625. Is stored in the computer memory in binary form as 0.110000110011. Okay, so this is 12 bits. However, it is equivalent to 0.76245. In storing the round off error inherent with the computer system considered. Thus, we define the error as a true value minus a computed value. Now, in order to determine the accuracy, the computer system has a word length of 12 bits means 0.76245. Suppose the computer system has 8 bits only, then we have to take only 0.11000011, and its actual value is 0.7617187 only. Okay. So, it makes a difference with the number, that is when 12 bits are used we get 0.76245. When 8 bits computer is used, we get only 0.7617187 is the actual number we will be getting when the binary form is converted back to decimal form. So, what is the actual number? 0.7625. What is the number we got back from the computer after it converts its binary form to decimal form back. That is 0.762425 is the actual value, true value, minus computed value is 0.76245. So, this error is called inherent error. Similarly, when 8 bits computer is used, the actual value is 0.7625 and the converted value from the computer is 0.7617187. So, the error is 0.7625 minus 0.7617187. Okay. Now, in order to determine the accuracy of an approximate solution, errors are measured in different ways. That is, absolute errors denoted by modulus of the error to avoid negative sign, whereas the relative error is defined as relative error is equal to error divided by true value. For example, consider the value of root 2. Root 2 is 1.414213 up to 4 decimal places. Then root 2 is equal to up to 4 decimal places means 1.4142 plus the remaining is called error. So, the absolute error is just take this root 2 is 1.414213 minus 1.4142. So, it goes like 0.00001. Okay. So, the relative error is absolute error divided by the true value. True value is 1.4142. So, 0.00001 divided by 1.4142. We are aware of the fact that root 2 is irrational. However, widely used value up to 4 decimal place digits is taken as the value for the computation of relative error. After talking about a round off errors and local round off errors, inherent errors, we will talk about truncation error. As already discussed, the errors committed are due to data and methods. The data errors is due to data errors are called round off errors and local round off errors. Before finding the solution, when the error occurs, it is called inherent error. Next, when the error is committed due to the methods used, then that error is called truncation error. These truncation error are caused by using approximate formulae in computation, such as the one that arises which a function f of x is evaluated from a finite series for x after truncating it at a certain stage. Because when you find the solution and when we use the iterations goes on till for example, if you take 1 by 3, answer is 0.33333, it goes on. When you use the method, we have to stop this 0.333 somewhere else. So, that kind of stopping the procedure is called truncating. So, that at certain stage it has to be stopped. So, that kind of stopping is called as truncating. The study of this type of error is usually associated with the problem of convergence. So, truncation error in a problem can be evaluated, and it is desirable to make it as small as possible so that it does not affect the final result of the problem. So, local truncation error. It is generally easier to expand a function into a power series using Taylor series expansion. There are various series, Maclaurin's series, Taylor series, etc. Out of that, easier one is Taylor series expansion and easy to converge also, and evaluate it by retaining the first few terms. For example, we may approximate the function f of x is equal to cos x by the series cos x is equal to 1 minus x square by 2 factorial plus x power 4 by 4 factorial plus etc. minus 1 whole power n, because it alternatively plus and minus, minus whole power n x power 2n by 2n factorial plus etc. In fact, it is an infinite series expansion. If we use only first 3 terms to compute cos x for a given x, we may get an approximate answer. That is, first 3 terms in the sense only 1 minus x square by 2 factorial plus x power 4 by 4 factorial. When we use only this up to this, we get only the approximate answer. Here the error is due to truncating the series, because although the series goes up to infinity, we have winded up the series with only 3 terms. So, this kind of error is called truncating error. Suppose we retain the first n terms, the truncation error is given by, because the first n terms happens with this one, right, 1 minus x square by 2 factorial plus x power 4 by 4 factorial minus etc. plus minus 1 whole power n x power 2n by 2n factorial is the first n terms. So, what is the next one? The whole one is a true value, computed value is only up to n terms, n plus 1th term happens to be error. How? The whole infinite series minus n terms gives you n plus 1th term, n plus 2nd term, etc. So, what is the n plus 1th term? It is minus 1 whole power n plus 1 x power 2n plus 2, because the series goes as with the addition of 2, x square by 2 factorial, next x power 4 by 4 factorial. So, every term gets added up with power 2, therefore, 2n plus 2 factorial. This is n plus 1th term. That is the error. As already told, error is equal to true value minus computed value. True value is the infinite series up to infinity. So, your computed value is only up to n terms. So, true value infinity series minus n terms, in the sense we will get only n plus 1th term starting plus etc. up to infinity. So, that n plus 1th term is x power 2 n plus 2 by 2 n plus 2 factorial. If the nth term is negative, then n plus 1th term will be positive, because you are taking the modulus. When you take the absolute error, negative sign will go off. So, it may be noted that truncation error is independent of the computer used. Whether it is 12 bits computer or 8 bits computer, we are least bothered, because we are going to talk about only the truncating the terms. So, it does not go anything with the conversion to binary and then storage, etc. If we wish to compute cos x for modulus of x less than pi by 2 accurate with 5 significant digits, the question is how many terms in the expansion of cos x? This equation may be marked as 1, this 1 to be included. In this situation, we get x power 2n plus 2 divided by 2n plus 2 is less than, because we substitute pi by 2 as the value, x value, then we get modulus of x is pi by 2 whole power 2n plus 2 divided by 2n plus 2. We are going to use only 5 significant digits. So, therefore, n is 5. So, we get 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 5, or 0.5 taking it into converting this 0.5 to a whole number, 5 into 10 to the power minus 1 into 10 to the power minus 5 gives you 5 into 10 to the power minus 6. So, taking logarithm on both sides, we get 2n plus 2 log x minus using all the log formula, we get log of x power 2n plus 2 divided by 2n plus 2 factorial, etc. We use log m by n is log m minus log n, and log a to the power x goes like that. So, all those things are used and we obtain 2n plus 2 log x minus log of 2n plus 2 factorial. Okay. And on the left hand side we have a log 5 to the base 10 minus 6 times log 10 to the base 10. So, log 5 to the base 10 is 0.699 minus 6, which is equal to minus 5.3. Okay. So, log 2n plus 2 minus 2n plus 2 log is lesser than, multiplying both sides with negative sign we get is greater than 5.3. So, we can observe that for x in the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, because we have taken mod x is less than pi by 2. When you remove the modulus, we get x belongs to minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. So, x is in the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. The above inequality is satisfied for n is equal to 7. Hence, 7 terms in the expansion of 1, that is cos x expansion, are required to get the value of cos x with the prescribed accuracy in the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So, 7 when we use the truncation error, which is less than or equal to x to the power 2n plus 2 divided by 2n plus 2 factorial, we put n is equal to 7, we get x to the power 2 into 7 plus 2 divided by 2 into 7 plus 2 factorial, that is 14 plus 2 is x power 16 divided by 16 factorial. In this session, we studied about numerical analysis basics, that is what all we are going to study about numerical analysis in this subject, and what is the need to study numerical analysis, that is also discussed. There are 3 types of errors: inherent errors, round off and truncation errors. All these errors are dealt detailedly. Based on the discussions, the following question may be posed: what is the need to study numerical analysis? That is aim and the basics you have to mention here. What are various types of errors? Brief about truncation and round off errors. Thank you.